What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we're going to be looking at something a little bit different, a Storybook Brawl speedrun. First, I'm just going to show you guys the clip from my live stream where I got my best speedrun record, and then I'll come back again and do post-commentary over the same footage just to kind of talk about some more things that I left out of the live stream because I didn't know that that was going to be my best attempt. All right, get hype. This is exciting. I'm feeling good about this one. The plan is bench strats early in the game. Just make sure this is working. It is. No. All right. 3. Oh, wait. Let's select King Midas. Oh, my gosh. If we just rip that off with Potion Master, that would be so embarrassing. The other good thing about Midas is you don't have to worry about stinky treasures. You just play the dang game. Unlocking that, of course. Now we'll start playing our units and winning our combats now that we're quite strong. Though, yeah, we were 50-50 to lose that one. We get a spinning gold for our troubles as well. I think I take more XP. Yeah, let's do it. This is a run. This is a total run. Okay, now we want scaling. Roll for Choop. I just want Choop. I'll lock that though. I think there was a flourish in the shop as well. So we'll pick up the flourish and the Sporko. Monster Manual would have been good with Choop as well. I'll lock Arthur. We'll play an Arthur game. Here, on this level, you want Choop, Arthur, and Heartwood Elder. Those are the three things. This Merlin's on 5.0? What the heck? We're going to have to battle through a ton of Ashwood animations. Okay, only 2. Our front line's huge. And we hit this guy for 16. That's really, really close. If only we played another unit. Alright, I want to get Choop in. Oh, that's it. Okay. Alright, this turn's 5.0. The Arthur animations do potentially add up in an annoying way. I want to put the Mad Mim behind the Happy Little Tree and move the Sporko over, and then maybe we put the Mad Mim in 7. Let's look for Arthur's Heartwood Elder. No. Let's take this. Forgot to split at first for the 5.0. But it doesn't really matter. We bought XP this game, so... XP is a weird metric. Now we want to find Choop, Shoulder Fairies. I probably should have grabbed that Arthur too. This looks promising though. See, did 3 people die there? They did. Wow. Okay. I wanted the Choop. That's awesome. This isn't going to be a kill onto Krampus, but it's going to be really dang close. I just pig-out against the ghost. Oh well. I should just be slamming battle button here. This is probably the end of the game. So this gets us to the finals, and then if we beat Krampus in 1, I think this is sub 8 right now. I think this is going to be a short enough battle. Oh, this is looking really good. Hit. Okay. Yeah, this is a win. Nice. Love to see it. It's a mistake. And... just barely did not get sub 7. Well, now we know sub 7 is possible. It seemed like the gold split here really helped us, and we weren't hurt in the end game. We had plenty of stats in the end game. Let's take another look at that run now with some post-commentary so that I can provide some additional information that, well, I wasn't really talking too much during the run to begin with, but the first thing I want to say starts before the run starts, and that's because you can reset as many times to try to find the hero that you were looking for, and I initially did come up with the idea of Storybook Brawl speedrunning independently, but then before I was able to actually put anything out, I saw that Caleb Gannon Gaming also put out a video on Storybook Brawl speedrunning, and he had the innovation to start when you press confirm, and it's a small thing, but I think it's pretty big because it means that every time you hit practice, you're not starting the clock, you start it right there when you hit the confirm, and we are off to a pretty good start, being able to take a Cinderella and a Lonely Prince to start things off. And one thing that you'll notice is I am a little bit slow, and this run could certainly be improved even more than the time that I already put into it. This was my 4th attempt at speedrunning. My other attempts, I had 2 sub 10s, 1 sub 9, which you can see that is what we are racing against on the screen. And than this one, which was almost sub 7, which is why I'm getting like very excited at the end. But none of my other runs were even sub 8. So really the RNG to start off to get both the frog and the happy little tree triples at the start of the game were really good. One thing you'll also notice is my first 3 combats, the reason there's that gold split there of saving the 46 seconds, and that's part of how we get down the time so low. I used what I was calling bench strats, but I would just bench my entire team the entirety of level 2, and honestly probably should have done it a little bit farther. You can see that we still have 32 health, and that health is a resource that we can play with in a different way in speedrunning, in that we can use it to save time just by taking some damage in the early game, and then we will actually play the fights where we think we can actually win. Another really interesting part of Midas, obviously you are taking Midas to get the early triples so that your units deal more damage. That's basically the conceit of Midas. But another thing is the ability to not have to deal with treasures. And honestly, I'm not even sure if Cindy is worth it, though it winds up being pretty decent for us here just because it becomes an upgraded princess that we can then use with this Prince Arthur that we find. So one of the things that we're trying to do is we are trying to triple things, but we're also trying to find some ways to get some units that scale, so that way we can start to skip as many shops as possible in the late game once we think that our team is good enough. And there's this really weird balance in playing Storybook Brawl speedrunning where you do want to find a team that has some good scaling, but you don't want to spend too much time finding it. And honestly, I'm getting like pretty lucky finding this team, but I think that one of the strengths of this comp that we're playing is like it's not perfect. Okay, there's a tree, there's 2 royals that Arthur is pumping up, and then there's the Choop with the supports that he is pumping up. And I think one of the reasons that this was my most successful run from the entire day is I was willing to be so flexible with what I was doing. During the battles, I was trying to think as much as possible about what I wanted to find in the shop, and I wasn't thinking about Heartwood Elder. I was definitely thinking about this shoulder fairy, though, and was happy to be able to pick that up. Now I will take a Prince Arthur, and at this point I basically think that I've got like nearly enough stats. I'd still like a little bit more, and I'm still going to wind up getting a little bit more. But what's crazy about this game is like this might have already been enough stats. Our opponents in the late game aren't really that strong, and the main thing right now should really just be tripling this shoulder fairy, or taking the Cinderella and putting that into slot 7 and putting the shoulder fairy up at the front of the pack so that way it can hit for extra damage at the start. And like you can see this fates, like this game is just not close, but sometimes you are going to run into people. Specifically, there's a few units that the bots like. In the early game, they do really like Humpty Dumpty, and you will find a lot of eggs being thrown around in your lobbies. In the mid-game, like level 3, there's not really that many powerful things that you have to worry about. They're just all going to be playing 7 units and sometimes in really weird configurations. Once you get into tier 4, you will see a lot of Romeo and Juliet combinations, and that is one of the stronger things they're doing. And then the other thing after that is Hippocampus, which we can see right here, though the bot has no clue how Copycat works in general, as you can clearly see from this fight. But Hippocampus is the one that you do have to watch for. I think it's because it has 10 attack that the bots seem to value it pretty highly, but they'll take it and they'll take multiple, and then they will scale it with other animals and summons and things. So that's like this Krampus winds up not becoming super powerful, but certainly a hippocampus could become more powerful in the future. There's a lot of ways to optimize this, as you can tell, and hopefully that's a good thing. Hopefully that makes some of you out there interested in trying it, because this was nowhere near optimal, and optimal is interesting in two senses, maybe even three. There's like speeding up just your individual decision makings per shop, doing everything as quickly as you can. There's optimizing the comp. What is the best strategy to play on the board? I'll talk about that more in a second. And then the other form of optimization is what is the least amount of power that you can play that will get you winning the game. You can see that one wasn't close. So I probably overbought this game. And I am pretty confident that this can be beaten in under 6 minutes. I think that easily a minute can be shaved off of even this run. You're just going to have to get a little bit lucky. So you might have to grind at it for a bit if you think that this is something that seems interesting to you. Or if you just want to watch somebody else try to do it, you can probably convince me to spend an hour or two on stream trying to get it done. But there you go. That's the run. I want to talk about some other things as well in terms of different comps that you could potentially build or different heroes that you can play. I'm not convinced that we've totally found what the right comp is 100%, but I do think that it's Prince Arthur after watching this game, because Arthur is just really little gold and time investment in terms of what you actually need to do, especially with Midas. And the positioning for King Arthur also doesn't matter, and it will naturally scale into the late stages of the game in a way that you don't have to care about. I tried builds that were more heavily focused on slaying. I also tried builds that were more heavily focused on trees and dwarves. My problem with slaying is that you're only really growing 1 or 2 units, like your Choop and your Vampire, maybe a Shadow Assassin, maybe whatever is behind the Choop, a Spork and a Baba Yaga, but generally that is not going to make your whole board that powerful, and can lead to awkward scenarios where you're just playing like half of a board and can actually still lose, because if you don't kill people quick enough, then potentially some of those hippocamp players are also going to be able to make some really big hippocampuses, and then all of a sudden you can't kill them. That happened 1 or 2 times on the stream. On the topic of slay, the fourth category of optimization is animations, and slay obviously brings a lot of animations, which is another reason to avoid it, but there's other things that you want to avoid too, like casting a bunch of spells and last breaths that might have lengthy animations. That's definitely something you want to consider just as far as picking what the best comp is to play. Trees, I think, are fine. They're just not as good as royals and require a little bit too much focus on positioning and also synergies in a really weird way, because Happy Little Tree needs additional support in order to have attack to be strong enough to be able to play. When you are running like a combination of the Chupacabra and the Happy Little Tree, like we're doing here, then you do get the bonus of being able to pick Shoulder Fairy up, which is incredibly strong, but it's probably too strong, especially considering you saw the lobbies that we just played against. I do like dwarves. I do think that dwarves can be good. However, dwarves have similar problems of needing to kind of be synergistic in weird ways, and in the late game, if you need to get bigger, really the only way to do that with the removal of Bossy is by picking up some Lordies, which requires rolling in the end game, which just kind of feels bad. And I felt like dwarves as a comp does have some potential, and there are some times where you find multiple fannies on level 2, but ultimately it just felt like you spent way too much time rolling for all of the different pieces, whereas I think Royals is going to be the go-to, because you just take any Royals at the early game, and then you roll for Prince Arthur's. And I really think that that can work out and will be the dominant strategy. I will say, as far as officially timing it, this run came in at 7 minutes and 2.5 seconds, 2.54 seconds. The run ends when you can see the pink ribbon on the first place screen, and it should start as soon as the confirm button disappears on the bottom of the screen. So as soon as you hit confirm, and then you can start the timer, and that'll give us all like a way to stay on the same page as far as that is concerned. There was something I was doing later on in my stream where you can concede that last fight to see the final victory screen earlier. I think that we should just say like no skips, full stop, just to keep everybody on the same page for like technical perspectives. That way you could do runs on your phone the same way that you could compete with runs on the computer. And like also, if you're gonna like be just refreshing heroes and stuff, every time you hit concede, even from this selection, you're gonna see that it shows you that first place screen. So there you go. There's a speed run. We didn't even have to hit the confirm, though I guess the confirm means that it never started either. But I think like one thing I definitely want to discourage is people force quitting and reopening during every combat. Like during every combat, technically you should force quit your game and relaunch the application, so that way you can skip all of the battle animations. But obviously that is a little bit silly. So I think that we should just say play it totally natural. No skips. But speaking of which, you could use skip. And that is one other thing that I did want to talk about too. Obviously this is a Midas run, and it definitely pushes the limits of what's possible. Like, don't feel discouraged if you're not seeing like 7-minute times or whatever. Your time might be closer to 12 minutes or whatever when you first start, and that's totally fine. But one thing that I think could also be cool is maybe we have a Midas record, and then we also have a Skip record, and then we also have a Gwen record, and people could try to hold the record for different heroes, and that maybe gives more people more reasons to play and be a part of it. I do think Midas is going to be the strongest if you're just looking for the quickest time, and you can reset just to find Midas runs. So that might just be worth it if that is what you are looking to do. If you want to see more of what I tried, what worked out and some of what didn't work out, you can find the full VOD on Twitch. But this is my best run by far. Nothing else, at least to my memory, even got sub 8 minutes. I got some pretty close ones. I think I might have gotten like a 7:55 in there or something, but nothing that was this close to 6 for sure. And watching it back was honestly a little bit painful because I got so much faster at some of the smaller stuff towards the end of the stream. But this run, I obviously just got very lucky and was able to put some really strong stuff together here. So hopefully you guys had fun watching this. If you want to see more, you can find me at Twitch, and also subscribe to this YouTube channel. I post a new Storybook Brawl video every 12 hours at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. EST, and also feel free to give this challenge a shot and let me know how you do in the comments down below. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.